You ever meet someone and feel that instant click? That electric connection where it feels like you've known them your entire life, not just for 5 minutes? We're all told to chase that feeling, right? To find that perfect rapport. But what if that connection wasn't a discovery? What if it was a design? Today we're pulling back the curtain on a very hidden social dynamic, manufactured rapport, and how it can turn your own personality into a trap.
Let's just let this sink in for a second. The very thing we want most, to be completely understood, can actually be a warning sign that we're being completely managed. It's a pretty chilling thought, isn't it? It basically takes our fundamental human need for connection and turns it into a weapon. This one idea, well, it's the key to unlocking everything we're going to talk about. So this is the core conflict right here. On one side, you've got what it feels like, this amazing, exhilarating rush of finding a soulmate, someone who just gets you. But on the other side, there's the structural reality, the chance that what you're really seeing is a managed reflection, a carefully constructed echo of yourself played right back to you. Knowing the difference between these two, that's not just important, it's critical.
Okay, so how do we take this apart? Here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at that feeling itself in the perfect mirror paradox. Then we'll get into the mechanics, the synchronization loop. After that, we'll dive into the psychology, the brain's liking heuristic, to see why we're so vulnerable to this stuff. And most importantly, we'll cover breaking the frequency, the real-world countermeasures. We'll wrap it all up with the guiding principle, echo versus anchor.
Come on, we've all been there. You're at a work event, a party, whatever, and you start talking to someone new. And damn, it's like you've known them for years. They finish your sentences, they hate the same things you hate, they laugh at all your jokes. It feels like pure magic, you know? A really rare connection. But that intoxicating feeling, that sense of being so perfectly seen, that's the front door to the trap.
And that rush, that high you're feeling, it actually has a name, social inebriation. It's this flood of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, that just makes you feel safe and warm and totally understood. But here's the dangerous part. That chemical cocktail makes your guard drop, big time. It leads straight to something called premature disclosure. That's when you start spilling your guts, your future plans, your weaknesses, sensitive info, way too soon, to someone you barely know, just because they feel safe.
And that leads to the real danger here. The erosion of cognitive sovereignty. I know, it sounds super academic, but it means something very simple. You lose control of your own critical thinking. When you're caught in this loop, you're not actually trusting another person. You're trusting a reflection, an echo of you. And think about it, you can't really question an echo, can you?
So how is this whole thing built? How is it manufactured? Because it's not magic, it's a process, a system. Let's break down the 4-stage mechanism that creates this incredibly powerful and potentially manipulative sense of connection. This is where we look under the hood.
It's called the Synchronization-Submission Loop. And that name says it all. The sync is designed to lead to submission. It happens in 4 stages. First, the emotional scan. They're just watching you, listening intently for your values, your pains, your buzzwords. Stage 2 is the frequency match. They start subtly adopting your posture, your breathing, your speech patterns, your energy. Then comes stage 3, the rapport lock. Your brain says, hey, this is good, this is safe, and your critical thinking just shuts down. And finally, the adjustment consequence. Now that you're locked in, they can subtly shift your emotional state, guiding you towards a decision without you even realizing.
So what's happening in our brains that makes that rapport lock so darn effective? It really comes down to these things called mirror neurons. And these are absolutely fascinating. They're brain cells that fire when we do something, but they also fire when we just watch someone else do that same thing. It creates this powerful subconscious feeling of a shared experience. So when someone mirrors you well, they're hacking that system. They're telling your ancient lizard brain, this person is one of us. You are safe.
So, we've covered the how. Now let's get into the why. Why are our brains, these incredible supercomputers, so easily fooled by this? Well, it all comes down to a really powerful and ancient mental shortcut, an evolutionary feature that can be turned into a bug.
It's called the heuristic of sameness, and it's simple, really. For thousands and thousands of years, our survival depended on figuring out fast who was in our tribe and who wasn't. So our brains developed a shortcut. If someone looks like us, talks like us, and acts like us, they must be one of us. Same equals safe. It's so primal that it can just completely bypass our rational mind, making us trust someone based on what is really just surface-level mimicry.
And this really gets to the core of the deception. On one side, you have isopraxism. It's just a fancy word for mimicry, copying posture, words, gestures. It's all structural. On the other side, you have authentic empathy, which is a real, genuine understanding of someone's emotional state. Manufactured rapport is all about making you mistake the first one for the second. It's wearing a mask of empathy. And importantly, keeping that mask on takes a lot of mental energy.
Okay, this is the big question, right? We get the trap, we get how it works, we get why we fall for it, but what good is any of that if you can't use it? How do you actually test the connection while you're in it before you overshare and those boundaries start to get blurry?
All right, this is where we get practical. This is your toolkit. The way you defend your own thinking is by stopping passively feeling the connection and starting to actively test it. Here are 2 solid strategies you can use to audit that rapport that feels a little too good, a little too fast.
First up is the physical test, the pattern break. So picture it. You're deep in conversation, you're both leaning in, you're engaged. That's the pattern. Now to test it, you just abruptly but naturally lean back, cross your arms, relax your posture. And then you just watch. Does the other person almost instantly, like a puppet, do the exact same thing? A genuine person might not even notice you moved, but someone who's just mirroring will often resync in a heartbeat because they're locked onto your physical frequency, not having their own experience. The second tool is verbal. It's the disagreement test, and it's so simple, but wow, is it effective. Just state a mild, low-stakes opinion that goes against what they've been saying. Something like, I actually thought the ending of that movie was pretty weak. And then you listen. A real person might agree or disagree or ask you why, but if they immediately pivot, you know what, you're so right, I was thinking that too, that is a huge red flag. It tells you you're probably talking to an echo, not a person.
Now, to be fair, mirroring itself isn't automatically evil. It can absolutely be used for good, in therapy, in coaching, even when you're just helping a friend who's having a hard time. Subtly matching someone's energy can build a bridge and show them they're not alone. The difference, always, is the intent. Is it being used to build someone up or to control them?
So, after all of this, the problem, the mechanics, the defenses, what's the big takeaway? What's the core principle we should walk away with? It all boils down to understanding the massive difference between an echo and an anchor. And this is the final most important idea. An echo feels good. It's frictionless. It tells you everything you already believe is true. But it doesn't help you grow. It gives you no new information. It just reflects you. An authentic ally, a real connection, that provides the healthy friction of difference. They have their own ideas. They challenge you. They support you. They help you see things in a new way.
So this is it. This is the call to action that sums up everything. That pull towards the perfect mirror is strong, I get it. But really, it's a search for validation, not connection. An anchor is something solid, something real and separate from you that can hold you steady. That's where you find real trust.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to carry with you. The next time you feel that instant, perfect click with someone, just pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, am I connecting with a real, solid person, or am I just falling in love with my own reflection? Whose reflection are you trusting?